Are you too busy to prep healthy meals? Do you feel self-conscious about your body and your clothes not fitting right, but you don't have time to work out? Does your life feel unorganized and messy? Do you wish you had routines and habits that made health simple, even with your busy schedule? I know, I've been there. Hi, I'm Shannon Marquita, and no one ever really taught me how to eat healthy. I didn't know anything about nutrition, so I found myself eating whatever was easy, which definitely impacted my energy, weight, and focus. That's why I created this podcast, to show you that through healthy habits and time management, you can know you're doing health right. So stop scrolling social, clicking the ads, and buying all the things. Let's grab our Americano and pop in our AirPods. It's time to solve the real problem together. Welcome home. A fresh start awaits. Alarm clocks. I genuinely don't know anybody who actually enjoys them. If you're the one person, then I would love to meet you. Hop over in our Facebook group and please tell me why. But as for me, I am not that way. As far back as I can remember, in elementary school even, I remember my mom coming in and waking my sister and me up and saying, "It's time for school. You guys need to get up." Just periodic reminders as she herself was getting ready for work. It even got to the point where she started to say, "If you don't get up, I'm going to have to take you to school in your pajamas." Thankfully, it never got to that point, but we did always push our limits. And then in middle school, high school, I remember having to probably every quarter get a new alarm clock because I would get so used to that terrible, awful sound that I would honestly just start to sleep through it. So if you're anything like me and you hate alarm clocks, not their purpose, just how terrible they sound and their instant stress triggers, this episode is for you. I'm going to talk about how and why I stopped using an alarm clock, and you can too. For as long as I can remember, I have never been a morning person. I was the person who could stay up until 1 a.m. just being productive, doing all the things, and I wanted to. But come early mornings, please do not engage in conversation with me until at least 9 a.m. Although the second part is still true today, the 9 a.m. or after part for actual conversation, those who know me now, the above sounds so far-fetched. Now, even on the weekends, I wake up by 7 a.m. Honestly, usually before. Although I still like the quiet because my niceness usually doesn't fully wake up until 9 a.m., the change didn't happen overnight. It's something that's possible, healthy, and I would honestly encourage everyone to try because it's so good to release that stress. There's something about not waking up to an alarm clock first thing in the morning that is just making this terrible sound that gets your heart racing and your stress going, and it's how you're kicking off your day. So today I want to cover a few tips for how I stopped using my alarm clock, and you can too. First, I want to give full disclosure. I occasionally still set an alarm on my phone just as a safety net for certain things like maybe a flight I need to catch or a very early meeting that I cannot be late for. Do I use it? 9.5 times out of 10, no. Usually I wake up still at a normal time in plenty of time, but it is good to know that if for some reason out of left field, my body wants to sleep in, that alarm clock is going to go off. And all that to say, the sound it makes is a lot calmer, thankfully, due to technology nowadays, as what I grew up with. And it's not just some screeching, constant sound. It might be something a little more melodious and something that is very calm and peaceful to ease yourself awake into your day. So first, I want to say my number one tip in order to stop using an alarm clock is to have a consistent bedtime. A nighttime routine I'm going to cover in another call because I think it is so important and really just sets our body on a consistent schedule and just allows us to be successful overall. But a consistent bedtime allows you to begin a routine. It allows your body to begin to prepare for bedtime. It's the same with kids, right? We start to get them maybe to put their toys away and then to draw a bath. And then they put their pajamas on and maybe read a book. It's the same for us as adults. We need a routine that starts to tell our body, this is unwind time. This is time where we're preparing for bed and we're going to go to sleep. You might dim the lights a little bit. I am a huge fan of blue light glasses, not just at night, but throughout the day. And I'll link the ones that I use here in this episode description for you. They're off Amazon. They come in like a 2-pack, some great designs. But it's so good for our eyes and our brain. So between the lights, between limiting your screen time, but also using blue light glasses, maybe some hot tea, no more work late at night, all of these practices allow us to start calming down, unwinding, releasing stress, and preparing for bedtime. And this consistent schedule is teaching our bodies when we go to bed and when we wake up, because our bodies need a certain amount of time. Although it differs from person to person, kind of that safe range is 7 to 8 hours nightly. So if you're not going to bed until midnight and you need to be up by 5 a.m., you're not getting enough sleep and your body is going to try and get what it needs, which means you might regularly be oversleeping. And so we just need to make adjustments. Now, do you need to go from an 11 o'clock bedtime to a 9 o'clock bedtime right away? I mean, I would suggest it if you can, but it's probably pretty tough. So I would say just try to chip away, maybe a few nights in a row or for a whole week. Try to go from 11 o'clock bedtime to 10:30. And then maybe the next week you go from 10:30 to 10 o'clock. And before you know it, you've ended up at that 9 o'clock bedtime or 9:30, whatever your goal is, without too much stress and without too much drastic change. It's all about incremental chipping away, forming new habits and routines. Number 2, I just want to say, before I nixed my alarm, I first began by replacing the sound that if you haven't already understood, I loathe it. Like the sound of alarm clocks, at least from when I was growing up and what is pretty normal today for one you might buy in a general store, Walmart, Target, CVS, Walgreens, anything. It's just awful. Now, thankfully, what I use when I do set an alarm is on my phone, and they have a lot more options, which is really nice. But what I actually began to use was I started pulling audio from motivational videos off of YouTube, and I would set that as my alarm. So what would happen is the one that I use, I'll link it in the description of this episode. It starts off really subtle and it builds. But what happens is it's building motivationally. So you're starting to wake up, and for me at least, I would be encouraged and I'd be motivated, and it would really make me want to get out of bed and start the day, because it's just such a different sense of willpower for the day as opposed to stress, waking up from just consistent beeping sound. So I'll teach you how to do that. If you look in the description of this episode, I'll show you the audio that I used, how I pulled it, and then how to apply it if that's something that you want to try. I just highly encourage it, and I think that it's a great transitional step from going from the typical alarm sound to something that's more motivational as you're working on your bedtime routine. The next thing I want to say is that applied knowledge is power. Something that has helped me in learning about my bedtime routine and just healthy habits is using my Aura ring. I don't know if you've heard of this. I learned about it a few years ago. They're on, I think at this point, their 3rd model. I didn't own their first one. I got it during their 2nd model. And ever since they've made any changes, I have just upgraded with them because I can't imagine not having it. I'll link that in the description here as well, but it is just incredible. I wear it every single day. It comes in multiple colors. I wear silver because that's usually the color jewelry that I wear, and it just stacks with my rings. But what it does is it tracks your data. It tracks your body temperature, it tracks your steps, it tracks your heartbeat, your heart rate variability. It now also tracks your blood oxygenation levels while you sleep. I just mean, it's incredible what it tracks. But while you sleep, it also tracks your movement. It tracks your quality of sleep. It tracks how long were you in bed? How long did you actually sleep? And so all of this comes to form healthy data and healthy habits and routine. If you're noticing, I'm having a really hard time falling asleep, then let's start to look at the bedtime routine and adjustments that we can make. If you notice that I always seem to wake up during the night around this time, let's try to figure out why. Is it because you maybe need to use the restroom? Is it because a pet maybe sleeps with you? Is it because your spouse or kids are maybe getting up regularly at this time? They honestly might need to work on their own routine, and it's affecting yours. And so we need to look at all those factors, but this Aura ring provides that data data that we can look back on throughout the night, throughout the day, for weeks. It's incredible. And I highly recommend it. And I just love it so, so much. I know that I mentioned blue light glasses before, but I just want to come back to that for a minute and just say how non-negotiable they have become for me. I heard someone mention them probably about, I don't know, maybe 2 or so years ago, and I grabbed a pair and I just was like, oh, is this something that everybody's talking about, but it's not really going to do anything? And I have to admit, the moment I started using them, I already thought that I slept well. I slept so much better. It was just like it helped my brain just calm down that much faster. I don't really watch TV. I like movies, maybe because I like a start and end, and TV series don't always get that opportunity. But there's something about having the blue light glasses on, even if you're working on your computer, even if you're on your phone, because it helps your brain not to fully wake up from the blue light that these devices transmit. And so if you're not using blue light glasses, feel free to talk to your eye doctor or anybody that you want to converse with. But there's a reason that they've started to offer them if you get a new pair of glasses, just simply built in, because they're that important and powerful for our eyes and our brain. Something else that I use that helps with my sleep, and I want to mention, is it's definitely for kids and babies, but it's a sound machine. And I use the Hatch Rest Plus. I tried the new one. I forget what it's called. I think it's called Restore, but I wasn't a huge fan because it didn't offer a lot of the features that I like. And the Rest Plus is the secondary model from their original version. That's the Rest. Has a built-in battery. You can change the different colors. You can choose your sound. And I just love it. You can have it on different volumes of sound. You can have the light at different levels of brightness. But that has helped so much to block out outside noise and distractions and to help with quality of sleep. And I did some research, and it says that if you set it to the color red, that's actually one of the best colors because it helps to not wake up your brain. So it also serves as a night light, even if you decide to not have a sound always playing. So if you need to wake up and use the bathroom during the night or get some water, it allows you to still see where you're going, but keep your brain in a more calm, restful state, even though you're up for a little bit. So again, I'll link that if you're looking for any type of nightlight or sound machine. I would highly, highly encourage you to try this one. Also because it has a built-in battery. If you ever lose power or can't plug it in, it does, I think, have 8 hours of battery life, which for traveling, it just is a huge plus. The next one I want to mention is your routine. Even subconsciously, your routine affects others in your life, even your pets. My dog seriously hops up into bed as it gets close to 10 o'clock, and he wakes up every morning between 5:30 and 6:30 a.m. So in a way, he's also become an alarm clock for me. And I just love it because him waking me up is so much less stressful, and it's extremely pleasant as opposed to an alarm clock going off. He's got a very smushy, wrinkly face, and he just lays it on top of my face, and he might give me a kiss, and I honestly just wake up laughing and smiling because waking up to that kind of love and joy is so pleasant. So by you working on your bedtime routine and your overall routine, you're positively affecting others in your life, your family, even your friends who might be wanting to work on their own. You're inspiring them possibly without realizing it right away, but also your pets. And so this is healthy habits that you are trickling out to others in your life as well. Lastly, I want to emphasize that your mood, energy, focus, and health are all impacted by this routine. For me, this was one of the biggest things that had changed in my life was my stress level. By waking up without an alarm clock and just not constantly feeling like I was starting my day with a heart attack every morning was incredible. It was honestly, I'd go as far as saying life-changing, because for a while I would wake up so stressed that it was kind of depressing because you're starting your day in a state that is not pleasant. The first thing that you do when you get up is you want to be thinking about things that you're grateful for. You want to be looking forward to your day and making plans. And if you're waking up in such a place that is causing you to be anxious and stressed and just starting the day honestly yucky, that's not a good sign or habit. So I hope these were all really helpful for you. I'm really excited to hear what you try and apply first and how it works for you. I want to hear your feedback, so come on over and hop in our Facebook group, facebook.com/afreshstart, and just get plugged in. Share what you're trying, share what you're learning, share your feedback, share how you feel like this is affecting others in your life. I mean, this is such positive change that is going to impact you for so long, for productivity, for focus, for energy. It's just the possibilities are endless. So if you have any questions, hop into the group and I would love to connect with you. Otherwise, I hope you're having a great week and I will see you soon. Hey there. If this podcast helped, challenged, or inspired you in some way, I would love it if you'd do me a huge favor and leave me a review over on Apple Podcasts. It helps me to hear from you and know how this is best serving you. And go ahead and screenshot this and share it in your stories. Tag me at Shannon Marquita. That's SHANNONMARQUETA. And send it over to a friend in a text who is ready for healthy changes in her life too. Let her know that this episode might serve her as well. I am just so grateful for you and would love to hear from you. Come hang out and let's connect over in my Facebook group, bit.ly.com/afreshstart, or send me a message. I look forward to seeing you back here in a few days.